Just want to go over some election results with you this morning. You're the guy we want to hear from with it. But just first, with election nights, most of the results are in, obviously. And what do they mean for the Republican Party in terms of power? You've supported Jen Kiggans and candidates across the country like Carrie Lake and Brian Kemp. So what do you think with the results last night in that sense?
Well, there's still some votes to be counted in some races, and so we'll withhold assessment of those. But broadly speaking, I was really pleased to see Jen Kiggans win. And of course, the races in the 7th and the 10th were going to be tight and tough races. And Jennifer Wexton and Abigail Spanberger ran good races. We had really, really strong candidates. And I think that's what the election should be about, is putting up strong candidates and letting the voters speak. I think that we're going to end up with divided government in Washington. And we've had divided government in Virginia, and we've delivered. And I think it's time for elected leaders to put the campaign behind now and go to work in order to bring people together and deliver results. That's what voters are expressing, is a strong desire for results and recognizing that folks are hurting. There's concerns, real concerns around the kitchen table, and it's time to get to work to address those. That's the big lesson that I learned last year. Was on November the 3rd, we went to work to deliver for Virginians. We have divided government in Virginia, and we were able to do exactly that. And I think it's now everybody else's turn to deliver for the folks that elected them.
Perfect. And so along the same lines, you might have a little more kind of focusing on Virginia itself, because you've said many times the path to the House majority runs through Virginia. And so what's your response? Kagan's victory is great, but we also had the losses of Yesley Vega and Hung. So what do you think about that for Virginia's sake?
Well, in order for Republicans to take control in the House, we needed to flip seats. And that's exactly what we felt would happen in the 2nd. And Jen Kiggans ran a super campaign, and voters turned out and really expressed a view to make a change there. And as I said, Abigail Spanberger and Congresswoman Wexton ran strong races. They were tough races. And I think that the road to the majority continues to run through Virginia. I think the 2nd is going to be a critically important seat in order to add to that path to the majority. And that will end up with divided government in Washington. And as I said, that means it's incumbent on everybody to go to work to get things done. That's what voters want. That's what they expressed in Virginia last year. And I think that's what they expect out of their elected leaders.
Perfect. And then just lastly, we're seeing several news reports saying former President Trump is set to launch a 2024 presidential campaign in the coming weeks. And would you support him? Do you think there needs to be more Republican candidates next to him? What are your thoughts on that possibility?
Well, let me begin with the former president's going to do whatever the former president decides to do. I continue to be very focused on Virginia and being the best governor I can be. And the final toll from the election yesterday hasn't even been fully tabulated yet. And I just encourage everybody to keep their focus on what's happening right now. On November the 9th, we've got to finalize a number of elections, and we've got to decide what the final majorities look like in Washington. And this is where everybody's focus should be. We're working hard in Virginia to get ready for our next legislative session, which starts in January. We've got a big agenda. And it's time to do the work, and it's time to get to work for the people. And that's where I think everybody's focus needs to be right now.
Perfect. That's all I had for you. But any points you wanted to make or comments you wanted to make that involved election night? Just want to give you the chance before we're done.
Finally, I was very pleased with the way that the Virginia election system worked. Everybody who needed to vote and was allowed to vote had a chance to vote. I think the election process was tabulated quickly and fairly. It was a lot of work. It was some tough challenges with some old systems along the way, but just I want to congratulate our election process and all the people that make it work.
Perfect. Well, that's all, Governor. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.